Hello, character just got released, the last character for Tekken 8 got shown. I'm here to do an analysis. I've stayed up for 20 hours, like since waking up to when the thing started, the event started. It was 90% rehashing, and this was the one new thing they showed. So I need to justify the hours I stayed up by making a video or just doing something, because bro, come on. I'm going to be discussing this character purely from a move set standpoint. Uh, Change this. That's yeah, it's already on. Yeah. So I'm going to be discussing it from a purely gameplay standpoint. I'm going to be discussing her move set. I'm going to be discussing elements that remind me of other Tekken characters, maybe. Um, but this will not be a discussion of the character herself. All I can say is that personally, I'm glad we have a Tekken character, a girl Tekken character who acts like a bad bitch. And I don't mean like, damn, bro, she a bad bitch. No, I just mean she acts like a bad guy. She acts like she hates you. Anyway, let's uh let's watch. So I'm gonna be skipping ahead because these are all intros and shit. We're gonna just go, yeah, straight for the gameplay. So this part, the very beginning, really confuses me. So at the beginning, she switches to this stance where she walks backwards, and as you see, Feng is trying to attack. She walks backwards. It very much reminds me of Ling's Ling's stance, where she kind of has the same pose and she kind of moves to the side instead of backwards. You'll see a repeating pattern is that this character has a lot of evasion. So yeah, so she does this thing, which initially I got confused by because as you see, Feng is doing a low, and she kind of goes over the low, but it looked like she did it before the low started, so this doesn't look like a auto low parry. So I'm assuming this is just like a movement option she has within this stance that avoids lows. It's different. I don't think there's too many Tekken characters who have like that kind of thing. Maybe like a Cali roll, maybe with like Ling again, or maybe it's something like Lucky Chloe's Cali roll. I don't know. Point is, she does this cartwheel thing, which clearly is not an attack because her legs go straight through Fang and it doesn't do any damage. And there you see, uh, first things first, she has a lot of evasion, mainly of the high variety. Even though that was a low, like she did evade a low move right there, but she does have a lot of high evasion. See, Fang goes for the back one, gets crushed. She does these kicks, and this seems to be a guaranteed string that pushes him away. Next, she does this, which reminds me a lot of Heihachi's Hunting Hawk up 3-4. This looks like a up 3-2. Let me just make sure she's using her left leg. Yeah, it looks like an up 3-1. It reminds me a lot of Heihachi's Hunting Hawk. It looks very similar. Seems also plus on block. Maybe I can't tell because Hwoarang did, start pressing after that. But as you see, she did this stance thing, which looks a lot like Ling's Art of Phoenix AOP. I have no idea if this is something like if she is gonna have the ability to stay in this stance like Ling can, but it doesn't seem like it because afterwards she just kind of stands up and does what looks like a while rising move, but I can't tell. And this, I don't know if this is a while rising move. It looks like it either comes from that stance or is a while rising move. She basically does this, and it leads her to this follow up, which I can tell. You can see it's not like part of a string or anything. It seems to be just a follow up from this move, and Warren clearly tries to duck there and gets clipped by it, and it might give a guaranteed fall because Warren is on the floor and she recovers seemingly fast enough to hit him. So after that, we have June doing a few moves, and They're being blocked. And as you can see, that move, now I don't have the track to check, but correct me if I'm wrong, but this looks like a mid. She goes under the mid here with this kick launcher. Oh, one thing to point out actually, that she seems to be doing this taunt. She seems to have a taunt, and I don't know if it's actually a taunt or a stance, but I'm just gonna go with the taunt idea because she blocks right afterwards. So she blocks this, and then this mid goes above her while she does this evading kick, which I hope is very minus punishable enough because this is a launcher, as you see. June is launched for the instant taken 8 tornado flip. Then she does this flip, sorry, this roll into a punch. I should mention this roll seems very similar to Noctis's roll, but it's too early to be saying that. Maybe it's just literally a rolling punch and not a stance like Noctis's roll was. Um, Afterwards, as you can see, evasion is a high priority for this character. It has this evasive homing high. I thought this would give her like a guaranteed follow up, but no, it just knocks away really far. She has this other evasive high, which seems to be a lot like Noctis's forward forward 3+4, except I think Noctis's 443 was a high. This looks like a mid, and it looks very sidesteppable. It looks very linear. This I don't know if the Leroy just failed to roll back, but it seems like she gets a follow up after this. So this is actually very similar to, much more similar to Leroy's move actually. Now that I think about it, Leroy's 443. If it gives the follow up, like the way he fell implies. So then we see Lars, and he does this move here. It's kind of interesting. It seems to be a mid into a homing plus on block high. And the only reason I say it's plus on block is because of the animation, and that when Lars tries to press, he, the grab gets to him faster than his button. So this animation here simply just reminds me of Lydia with how she punches you on the floor. But this isn't a punch. She actually just does like this weird hand thing where like like her hand is not in a punch. Her hand looks like, yeah, looks like that. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but yeah, that's a thing she does. So this is a seemingly special interaction with Jin where she calls him Senpai. Very anime, very kawaii. Um, so she does basically Heihachi's 443, and it seems to eclipse Jin in his Zen stance. So this 443 animation looks very similar to Heihachi's, obviously. So, uh, she probably just got Heihachi's 443. But unlike Heihachi's 443, this doesn't actually give her a launch. This gives her a knockdown and activates heat when heat is available. So then she has this really interesting move. It kind of reminds me of Asuka's new move where she spins and kicks, but that Asuka move is a mid, and it's just supposed to be used after certain like follow-ups. I mean, for certain follow-ups. This looks very similar, except she kicks high, and it's a homing mid. Basically, very similar to Hwoarang's, backlash, or even Azucena's move, Azucena's backlash, in that it flies them away in a back turn face towards position for a guaranteed follow up. But it seems to only do that with a heat dash. So I can't tell if, without heat, without use consuming heat, does this give it a follow up or not? I don't think, I think it might not. I think it might just spin, ballerina spin them. So then, as you see, evasion is a high, is very emphasized on this character. She goes under Jin's Magic 4 with her own homing high kick. Um, she goes under it, and This seems to be a heat activation because you see she kind of glows, kind of like she's in heat, and then she kind of flashes there. And this last kick maybe is the the heat special activation thing. So with that, she breaks the floor, and then she just does a string that just seems to be used as an ender. To be honest, I don't know. It doesn't seem to have any other specific usage. Uh, Now she punishes this move with this down forward one into a headbutt. Now, this is where we kind of get into the realm of everything looking very similar to Heihachi. She starts really bringing out the Mishima. She got that Mishima dog in her. This is where you really start to see it. So this looks like Heihachi's down forward 1-2, but instead of a 2, it might be a 1+2 for the headbutt input. But either way, it looks very similar to Heihachi's down forward 1-2. So she then goes into this hell sweep, or at least what I thought was a hell sweep, but it does come from full crouch. So I used to think this was a hell sweep. Now I'm not sure, but it does look very similar to a hell sweep. As you see, she does this move, and it seems to have a high extension. This looks like a high to me, but Tekken highs can sometimes be mistaken for mids, or mids can be mistaken for highs. So, you know, it really depends on when the game comes out for us to decide to find out, I guess, or for the developers to decide because they like changing this kind of stuff. So after this, she seems to go into this stance. She seems to hold this pose here where yeah, this, where she kind of just looked kind of like Devil Jin, to be honest. It reminds me of Devil Jin, the way he stands. So this lets her use her heat smash. This is her heat smash. As you see, she loses heat, which is another one of those hell sweep type heat smashes where it's the low that does big damage and is typically safer than a hell sweep on block. The main difference is that this one seems to spike down for a floor break. So yeah, I see this as a floor break move. Uh, so just I know I said I want to talk about character and lore and everything, but this is very reminiscent of Heihachi's win pose where he says something similar. So she has a special interaction with Kazuya, very, very cool. Um, so this is the first confirmation of being a Mishima, where she basically just does an electric. Like this is basically just an electric wind God Fist. So yeah, she does this string, which I assume is just going to be used for, being a tornado flip. And she does this, does her heat bound, which I'm not a big fan of the animation on it. If I play it to you in slow motion, it looks fine, but in real time, it goes way too fast. But yeah, she does this weird kick thing, cartwheel kick looking thing. And here's the interesting thing: she does have a second heat smash. So that heat smash where she did the hell sweep, that was a heat smash. But as you see, this after this move, she's in this stance. She has this heat smash here, but she apparently has two of them because this right here is also a heat smash because she is no longer in rage once she uses it. And it looks really funny. It looks like a Broly type of animation where it drags you through the floor and then just punches, well, not punches, palms Kazuya straight in the stomach. And here's another Heihachiism showing up where she does basically Heihachi's 1+2, Demon Breath, I think is called. I don't remember. But yeah, it's basically Heihachi's 1+2, and she knocks Kazuya all the way across the stage. So here's another Heihachiism. That's what I'm going to be calling it now. I'm too sleep deprived to come up with something better. So Kazuya puts her at minus with his forward 4, and she does this parry, which is like basically the same as Heihachi's. Parry, where where you see the opponent reacts the same exact way to Heihachi's punch parry as she did to his parry. So this will likely be also just a punch parry. The interesting thing is this parry for when Heihachi does it gives him a full launch, but for her it seems to only give this this CD1, this classic Mishima CD1 with this kick at the end. Now, the only reason I say this is the only thing she gets is because this seems to be across the board what they're doing with parries. They don't want parries to give. They're already nerfing parries, and I don't think they want to give parries any significant reward. Of course, there is Fang who has that one stance where he parries moves and then launches you, but that requires him to parry a bunch of moves, whereas this is just a single move parry. But yeah, so as I was saying, they are nerfing parries overall. Most parries, like you know, things like Fang himself, he used to have a punch parry that would launch the enemy. Now it no longer launches them and just gives a guaranteed follow up. So this is what I believe they're doing. They're just turning parries into guaranteed follow up machines. So this is an interesting string right here. This is another Heihachiism right here. You see, she goes into this stance, and Kazuya tries to you know, disrespect and tries to attack. But once he does this, uh, as you see, the camera kind of switches motions, and it looks like she got hit. But this hit gets turned into a parry, very similar to Heihachi's other parry. I forgot its input. The other parry that leaves him vulnerable, but basically allows him to parry almost any move in the game, but while still hurting him, while it still, you know, takes damage, you know, takes his health. So this is what this looks like to me at least. By the way, she is in heat during this, so this could just be another heat activation thing, where like when she's in this weird Deviljin looking stance, this weird stance where she's staring at them like that. Maybe this is like this means she can you can't hit her with certain moves and she does this parry. I don't know. This is purely conjecture on my part, but yeah. So she does her rage art, very anime. She tells you to. This reminds me of. This is dumb, but it reminds me of Geese, with how he tells you to stay down and know your place, mega and shit like that. This look here is really reminiscent to me of Jury. She got that evil dog. Very cool, very nice. Yeah. So Heihachi is officially dead, as Harada confirmed. He is completely dead. And just one thing I wanted to point out actually about this trailer is the statue in the background. The statue looks a lot like it looks very similar to Akuma. Like I know Akuma himself is designed to look like an Oni and all that, but this this statue looks reminds me too much of Akuma, and I just hope it even looks like one of Akuma's presets in Tekken 7. And I just kind of I'm hoping that this isn't implying that he can come back because we don't need him. We really don't need him. The only thing I can say I'm still confused about is this cartwheel that went right through Feng's body, and yeah, I think that's the main thing I can say I'm not sure of. But as you can see, this character has like a lot of evasive properties, very similar to Xiaoyu, and a lot of Heihachiisms. Very, very much a lot of Heihachiisms. She has uh, she has an electric. It's yet she has a move that looks like a hell sweep, It's yet to be seen if she has like the standard 112 for punishment or, anything else. She has that Heihachi 443, which is a common move with the Mishimas. Yeah, man, I don't know. I just wanted to ramble about this trailer because I stayed up from like way too long. I can't even like like these are all things that came to my head after rewatching the trailer like 7 times. So just don't think like, oh damn, he seems very well articulated for a guy who hasn't spoken for that long. For a guy who hasn't slept for that long. No, man. Uh, I've been out here trying to think of every possible thing in this character's moveset that I can glean from this trailer, and it's been hell, bro. It's been hell. They stalled way too long with that event, bro. Low-key, I was happy when Arslan started beating everyone because that just meant we could skip the tournament part and just get straight to the discussion. All right, that's it. That's it. That's video over.